Yo, what's poppin'? OFX in the building. So today's video is gonna be about something super simple. It is called liquidity. So liquidity is super cool. It is basically just money. Okay, so stop losses, limits, as in buy and sell limits. Oops. Stops, buy and sell stops. All of those things, all of those orders, stop losses, and everything are money, right? They're just literally money inside of the market. The market is drawn to those areas. Okay, so let me give you an example. We have, let's say we have a solid resistance point where price has came up and rejected multiple times, right? A lot of people will sell over and over off of these things. Okay, you got to think, what is above this, right? What is right above this? Okay, people keep selling. Stop losses, right? People's stop losses are all over here. Okay, so what the market will do is it will come up in this area, right? Again, reject a little bit and then shoot up, whoops, shoot up above it, take all the people's stop losses out, and then shoot back down in the original direction they thought they were going to go, right? And also, there's something called breakout buyers, breakout sellers. So once price breaks out like that, people will do something where they'll start buying. Okay, so sell. All the sellers get taken out, and then the buyers are in profit a little bit, and then get taken out. Okay, and then same thing, vice versa, for people who are buying at a support. Buy, 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 right? And then what do you think is going on down below here, right? Stop losses, right? So we have people who are buying down below here, right? And then we have people who are selling on the breakout. So once this does its move, it takes people out. Okay, so it's really just that simple. It's stop losses, limits, buy stops, sell stops. Liquidity is just money, so it ties in really well to the way that I trade. So if we look, I'm gonna give you a few examples. If we look right here, right, we can see that this wick was right here and this wick was right there, right? We see selling pressure inside of that wick, selling pressure inside of that wick. These two candles come down here. And then we see this bullish candle come up here. And this wick shoots all the way up, takes people out, and then drops all the way down, right? And then we see price comes up and mitigates off that, right? Comes up in there, mitigates whatever was inside of that, and then drops, right? Then we see the same concept right here. We see these two wicks. Whoops, that's really far, right? If we go in deeper and look, we see this blue wick was right there, and then that white wick came up above it, took out the liquidity inside of that wick, inside of that candle. People who were selling, boom, right? And then price literally came down here, shot all the way up just to get inside of that, and then dropped. Okay, we see the same thing right here. We see that big elongated wick, right? This big wick came up here, took out this candle, this candle, this candle, and then came back down. So price came up into that and then dropped, right? There is even this one, right? It can be as minimal as this, right? As minimal as this. That wick was right there, that wick was right there. We see price was right here. We see it came in there, right? And the reason why we put the box right here is from the bottom of the wick to the next wick right here that came inside of that wick, right? This wick right here came inside of it, but what's left is what's important, right? So if we see that price came right in there, what's left of that wick that took out liquidity. Okay, so and then we see another example right here. This wick came down all the way below that wick, so boom, right? Again, we took it from the bottom to the next wick, this one that came inside of it, right? So this is what's left of the wick, and price came down in there and mitigated, right? That's all it is. It's really, really simple, but it plays a huge part in the supply and demand way that I trade and things. So I don't trade typical supply and demand. I don't trade when it comes up to a resistance, you sell. I don't trade when it comes down to a support, you buy. That is not how I trade. I trade off of these 1, 2, 3, 5, 6 things that I created. I created these supply zones, hidden supply zones, demand zones, things like that I'm going to show you with this art. And exactly how I find my entries, and then after I'm going to go on the charts and actually show you real chart entries. So this first one is a hidden supply zone. Okay, what we have is a sell candle, right? And then this wick right here was the last wick until this wick from the next candle came up above it, took out the liquidity. Okay, so all of this wick right here means there's buying pressure inside of this wick, right? Buying pressure inside of this wick that pushed up, took out liquidity from this previous candle, and then sold all the way back down to close down here. Okay, so the wick high, wick took out previous candle wick. So from the top of this wick down to the bottom means that it is a hidden supply zone. There is something inside of this wick, in the buying pressure in that wick, that we can play off of. So we always highlight wicks like this. I'll go on the chart and show more about that. Excuse me. Same for the opposite way. Demand zones. So push up, and then push up with this candle, right? And then this wick shot all the way down, took out the last wick of the candle. The wick low to the top is the hidden demand zone. There is selling pressure inside of here, selling pressure that pushed it so far down that it took out the previous wick in the candle. Okay, so it is a hidden demand zone from the bottom to the top of the wick, right? And now we have what is called hidden supply. So hidden supply is when a candle like this pushes down, and then we have buying pressure start coming in the bottom of it, right? Candle pushed all the way down here to the bottom, and then it pushed up because there was buys inside of it, right? And then this candle closed, this one opened with buying pressure still coming in, right? Then it pushed down. So inside of this box that I drew, there is buying pressure. It is hidden supply. There's something inside of there that we can play off of. Some type of liquidity was taken out, some type of candle can be played off of. Okay, same thing vice versa. Hidden demand, big push up, right? And then this pushed up to here, and then selling pressure with this wick pushed it back down. Okay, and then this closed, this opened and pushed down to here with this selling pressure, and then pushed up. So this box right here is what we highlight as hidden demand, and we look for setups inside of it. Okay, and then we have a supply zone. So this one is a little different because you can get really creative with it. It's a little tricky. What we have is sell, and then we have a candle that completely engulfs it. Okay, it doesn't necessarily have to happen. This is the candle that we have to focus on, but sell down before the big buy up. Okay, and then this next candle completely pushes past this one, completely engulfs the area of where we were looking at. Okay, so this is a supply zone, right? Push up, the candle that comes back into contact with this, it could be, a day later, a week later, doesn't matter. Comes back down, pushes straight through it, and once it goes through it, once it comes back up, that is the supply zone. Okay, if a candle comes down around this area and just hangs around it, mitigates out of it, it doesn't count. It has to push through it, and then once it comes back up, then we can play off of it. Okay, that is a supply zone. The next one we have is a demand zone. It is just the opposite. Okay, bullish candle, then push down, and then the next candle that comes around this area pushes straight through, doesn't mitigate out of it, so pushes straight through, and then once price comes back down around this, that is a demand zone. That is what we can look to play off of. Okay, so now I'm going to go to the chart and actually show real examples of stuff that happen like this. Okay, so what we can see is things like this. So check this out, right? This stuff can get super good, super accurate. Okay, so we have this white candle, the wick came down to there, this wick came down to there, that wick took that out. Okay, that wick took out that liquidity. So if we highlight it, okay, from the bottom of the wick to the body, price came directly into that and then shot up. Okay, and then shot up. So if we look at that, if we had it at the open of the zone, we could have had a stop loss like that. And then imagine the risk reward that you can get with trades like this consistently. That is crazy, right? So, and then we had another thing. We had a demand zone, right? Boom, right? We had selling pressure, we had buying pressure with inside of this, okay? Or, selling pressure and selling pressure with inside of this, and then price wicked down into it and then shot up. Okay, this stuff is crazy. We had a candle right here that pushed up above all that liquidity and then dropped. And then if we highlight it from the wick that came up into it, right? Because we highlight what's left of the candle. Okay, so we highlight from the top of it to this wick down here. that came up into it, right? If the wick was up here, we would do that. If it was up here, we would do that. But we highlight what's left of the candle that has not been touched. And then we see this wick came up in here, played off almost to 50%, and then dropped. Okay. Super, super accurate stuff. We can find things like this all over the place, right? All over the place, we can find stuff like this. We can see right here is something cool that I figured out, right? This is somewhat of a supply zone, but price came right into the bottom of it, inside of that buying pressure right there, and then played off of it and dropped. Okay, so we can find things like this all over the place. I will probably make another video going more in depth, you know, just to explain it better. We have another one what came below these, 1 2 came below that, and then price came right into that and then shot up. Okay, you can find setups like these all day, and this is a demand zone. This is why these are a little tricky, because they look a little crazy. So we can see price right here, boom 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 boom, shot up, and then this candle, look, went straight through it, didn't touch it at all, just went straight through it. And then this wick came up and touched the open of it, right? You could have had a zone from the wick to the open of the body, and that would have been your little zone to play off of. But the key is that this had a big push up, took out liquidity, and then the candle after went straight down, didn't touch it, did nothing, right? And as I said before, it could be a day, it could be a week, whatever. If we look, it was almost a week that it took to come back to that, but it came back right to the open and then dropped. Okay, so that is supply zones, hidden supply zones, hidden demand zones, everything that I trade with to get my entries. That is that. OFX out.